Good morning. Here we are again, working our legacy on leadership themes. Yes. So, what say you about what we've done so far? We've walked through L.E.G.A.C.Y, lead with love, elevate others, give generously, act with purpose, care deeply, and you as the example to trust. But before we move on, let's tie it all together because leadership for a legacy is different from leadership for the here and now. You see, this isn't about quick wins, it's about playing the infinite game. These six principles are not just nice ideas, they're the bedrock of a legacy leadership. Because, yes, more can lead for today, meet deadlines, hit quotas, keep the lights on, so to speak. But fewer will lead for legacy, means building something that lasts, with trust and culture and purpose. It's not just about what we achieve, but how we behave while achieving it. We have an acronym for that. It's hashtag IIFTLH. A little hard to remember, but it basically is in it for the long haul, right? And here's the key. The journey hinges on hashtag CCC, which could be communicate, communicate, communicate. Or better still, how about continuous caring communication? Hashtag CCC, right? But, but, it's not just talking, but listening. Not just managing, but praising. Not just instructing, but acknowledging that your teammates are seen and heard and worthy of your trust, just as you are worthy of theirs. Hence, trustworthy. We both have to be that. We all have to be that. That's the heartbeat of leadership that multiplies, not just with an end game. And it's also caring, of course, which is a crucial ingredient to our hashtag LOL, legacy on leadership, right? So here are some examples from successful leaders that I came across through readings and such. Lee Iacocca once said, management is nothing more than motivating other people. And he proved it at Chrysler by rallying a broken company around a shared vision. Brené Brown, anybody know her? She reminds us vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation and creativity and change. You got to care enough to listen even when it's not comfortable. And one of my personal favorites, Gustave Eiffel, he didn't just design a tower, the Eiffel Tower. He rallied thousands of workers to hit impossible deadlines by pre-planning every rivet, thinking through every process, and preparing in advance, constantly reminding his team that their work mattered. Can you imagine 138 years later, we're still talking about their effort, still praising and acknowledging the quality of their work? That's not just engineering. That is legacy on leadership. And here's the point. This could be you. This could be us in 138 years. The choices we make, the care that we show, the consistency of our example, that's what people will be talking about long after the projects themselves are done. Great leaders know people follow examples, living, acting ones, not memos, not posters, not words, not commands, not orders, not even vlogs, though I still hope these help. Now, I know communication isn't always easy. Some days it feels less like clarity and more like trying to tune in on a fuzzy radio station, right? Or am I declaring I'm old here? But you're never quite sure what message is going to go through some days, right? Whether it's on your phone or the TV with lousy internet. But that's why God gave us two ears and one mouth to remind us. Listen twice as much as we speak, even if we have to wait, because real communication starts with listening. So here's a challenge as we wrap up this starter series. One, listen more. This is a hard practice, but practice we must. Ask someone on your team what's working and what's not, and listen. Praise quickly. Catch people doing something right and tell them. Keep them on that pattern, on that plan, right? And then acknowledge openly. Remind them that they're not just workers, but partners in building something that lasts because they are trustworthy. Yes? And if they're not, then we might want to rethink who that person is for us. Either we make him trustworthy or we part in loving ways. But here's the big one. We must practice frontline obsession, and we have to get there with the right teammates. And that means empowering these teammates to make the right call in the moment for the tribe's greater good. Not waiting for permission and not hiding behind hierarchy that can take time to figure things out, but trusting that if they're close to the problem, the client, the opportunity, they are the best ones to act with care and courage. That's where trustworthiness comes to play, right? So when the front line feels trusted like this to serve, decide, and lead in their space, it multiplies our confidence. It reduces the friction and builds a culture that can scale without losing its soul. So this is the foundation. We love, we elevate, we give, we act, we care, and we be us, you, right? Not as slogans, but as ways of living and listening and leading with compassion, consistency, and this frontline obsession ideal. This is leadership for legacy, leadership for the infinite game, in it for the long haul. All right, what do you say? So let's keep building, keep communicating, keep serving, and keep empowering. Yes, because in the end, the real legacy is you.